winning mentality, championship programs, family tradition. Bearcat Update covers everything Northwest Missouri State sports. Welcome to another episode of Bearcat Update. As always, I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. The Northwest women's soccer team is into the bulk of the season as they head into the month of October with a 5-4-1 record on the season. The Bearcats have proved they can compete with nearly everyone this season with a group of veteran leaders and a talented young core to support them. Tegan Blackburn and Kaylee Rock have contributed to that cause with a combined 12 goals this season, and they kept up the production on Friday with each of them scoring against Washburn. Northwest dropped its last game against 6th-ranked Emporia State 4-1. Although they lost, the Bearcats have scored 22 goals through 10 games this season, which is only 9 goals short of the team's total goals scored in 2019 when they played 19 games. They will look to add to that total when they hit the road to face Nebraska Kearney on October 8th. With that, we are going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we sit down to talk to the legend himself, John Coffey. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. When you think of legendary sports moments, oftentimes fans remember where they were when a memorable sports moment happened, what the score was, the way the crowd played into the game, and the commentators screaming through the TV or radio. For over 36 years, John Coffey has been the voice of the Bearcats and a part of everyone's memories for Northwest Missouri State sports. Recently, Coffey reached a milestone for his 450th radio call for a game. Our reporter Hunter Helming was able to sit down with Coffey and his colleague Matt Tritton to talk about him reaching this milestone. Let's check it out.
John Coffey, Northwest Missouri State University lead sportscaster, reaches 451 consecutive Bearcat football games. John Coffey has been a part of the sportscasting industry for 30-plus years and has now been in Northwest since 1999. He started off his sportscasting career in college and practiced casting for games back then. As soon as he graduated, he went to work in Fairbury, Nebraska, then shortly to Kansas. However, in 1985, he went to work at a local radio station in Maryville and then became the sports director at the station, reviewing the Bearcat games, and has then been a part of the Northwest radio crew since 1999. I got the privilege to sit down and talk not only to Coffey, but also his main color, Matt Tritton, who agrees that 451 consecutive games is a feat in its own right. Tritton said this about Coffey and the great experience he has to bring with him to the booth.
I mean, you don't get to 451 consecutive games football in 37, 38 years doing one particular team and one program without being really good at what you do. So just a consummate pro, a guy that's always very prepared and does his best to make every broadcast the best it can possibly be.
John has 3 of his games that he has had the privilege to commentate over, and those being the 96 playoff game for Northwest against Omaha, Nebraska, the first championship game in '98, and the 1999 4-overtime win over Carson are his personal favorite games he has been a part of.
Probably from a standpoint of football, it's probably surprises some people, but it's the 1996 playoff game, the first playoff game under head coach Mel Churchma. They went up to Nebraska, Omaha, and it was a last-second catch by Jesse Haynes on an ice-covered field that won their first playoff game, and I think that was a game that where it kind of announced to the world that this football program is ready to go, and they've been able to build on that ever since.
While Tritton has not been with Coffey for those games, being his color for only 10 years now, he has, however, been with him for some other crazy Northwest sports moments, including the 2019 Hayes-Kansas game win in overtime after being down by 17 in the first quarter. Basketball-wise, against Northern State last year, and had appreciation for the great calls that Coffey has made for those games and hopes to continue being his color for a long time.
Trevor Hudgens, of course, hit that three-pointer to tie it up and send it into overtime. And, you know, we're going into breaks thinking, man, it's a double-digit game with just over a couple minutes left. Like, this might be the end of the run. And, of course, they found some magic. He had a fantastic call that basketball game for the way it ended. And so, yeah, those are, I mean, again, I've been doing it for a short amount of time, but creating a lot of great memories already.
A truly special career for Coffey and plenty more seasons to come from him. You can catch John Coffey and Matt Tritton on radio calls every weekend on the Bearcat Radio Network on KXCV KRNW. With that, we're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we have another edition of Sports Swap, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Do you remember that referee that cost your team a game? Got in a fight with a coach? Tackled a streaker on the 50-yard line? Well, maybe we were painting officials in a bad light, but our reporter Maddie Gearhart found some of the nation's best officials happen to go to Northwest. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sports Swap. My name is Maddie Gearhart, and this week we're going to be swapping a few things out. So instead of interviewing a few of our student athletes, we're going to be looking into our student refs. Let's take a peek. What's up guys? Today we're here with one of our student refs,
Richard.
and we're going to be asking him a few questions about tonight's student rec event. So Richard, you've been involved with the Student Rec Center for about 3.5 years. What made you want to become involved with the Student Rec Center in the first place?
Well, I was a freshman, so I was broke, so I needed money. But I like being around kids. I'm kind of the older guy here now, so, I like playing basketball, football, all the intramural sports. So, I found this place where I can be an athlete and not be serious about it.
So what sports are you planning on reffing this upcoming season? And if you ref any of your friends, are you going to be giving them a hard time intentionally?
I think I'll be reffing all of them. Football, softball was already passed, basketball. So I might, football is a good one to give people a hard time for, but basketball is the real one. Basketball, you can get the tit for tats and make sure they obey what they got to do, and you get to get away with whatever you want.
So say you did get into an altercation with a participant. Are you a person that likes to go burns based on playing style, appearance? What do you kind of target when they're starting to talk to you?
The easiest thing is always playing ability. Some kids like to really think that they can do a lot of things, and they might not have it in the bag. So you gotta let them know sometimes, like, hey man, settle down. Don't do too much, big fella. You're gonna hurt yourself, big fella. And
So right now we're here with our rec supervisor.
Grant Sands.
And of course right now we're in Hughes Fieldhouse, and there's an event tonight put on by the rec. What exactly are we here for?
We're here training new referees for flag football, or any of the old ones, giving them any updates, and they have a little scrimmage between one frat right now playing themselves, I think.
So bottom line, who's the better ref, you or Richard?
I don't know, that's a tough one, but I think if it came down to it, I'd at least be faster than him, so I'm going to say me. That's ultimately what matters with reffing, right?
Bottom line, who's the better ref, you or Grant?
Me. Oh.
Thanks for joining us this week on this week's episode of Sports Swap, where we traded in our student athletes for our student refs. I'm Maddie.
I'm Grant Sands the first.
And this is Rich Game.
Back to you, Calvin.
Thanks, Maddie. These Northwest referees have been officiating intramural sports since the start of the semester. If you are interested in playing intramurals, signups are available on imleagues.com. To keep up with all things student rec, follow them on social media at NW Campus Rec, where they post schedules for events and sports, holiday hours for the rec center, and giveaways. Our next segment is Bearcat Update Player of the Week. This player had a busy weekend, traveling roughly 10 hours and 48 minutes in a road trip that featured games in Kearney, Nebraska and Fort Hays, Kansas. Northwest volleyball outside hitter Peyton Kirchhoffer is a redshirt freshman who played like a veteran against the 10th-ranked Lopers and helped her team sweep the Tigers. In the first matchup of the weekend, the Bearcats were looking to snap a 14-match losing skid to the Lopers, which was accomplished in 4 sets thanks to Kirchhoffer's 14 kills, 6 digs, and 5 blocks. She also tallied an assist to go along with the impressive stat line. The Bearcats had no time to celebrate as they had to turn it right around, facing Fort Hays the next day. Northwest was looking to move to 11-2, 4-1 in MIAA play with the win. Kirchhoffer was once again dominant, not letting the long road trips take a toll on her body. She came out of the matchup tallying 11 kills while meeting the Tigers at the net to secure a team-high 3 blocks on the night. Kirchhoffer was also efficient, hitting at a high clip of 29.6%. After the weekend slate, Kirchhoffer had a combined 25 kills, 8 blocks, and 29 points. Kirchhoffer's ability to play at a high level, while only being a redshirt freshman and helping the Bearcats take down a top 10 opponent, paves her way to being this week's Bearcat Update Player of the Week. That's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of Bearcat Update. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BearcatUpdate_8 and catch all of our previous episodes on our YouTube KNWT Channel 8. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week. Bearcat Update covers everything Northwest Missouri State sports.